Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another video, and also welcome to new subscribers. No doubt quite a few are here through finding my Saturn in Pisces through the houses video. And if you've not seen that, I'll pop a link in the show notes below. So what I want to do today is just guide you through these first few days of March. March 2023 is probably, astrologically speaking, one of the most significant months that we've had for quite some time. There's a couple of reasons for that. I mean, obviously, there's the big things such as Saturn's ingress into Pisces, which happens on the 7th of the month. This is significant for a couple of reasons. Is that as the most distant visual planet, Saturn takes the longest to move around the zodiac. So it only changes signs once every sort of 2.5-ish years. And so the fact where one of the big movers changes signs is significant in of itself. In addition to that, because Saturn's moved through Aquarius, and then prior to that, it moved through Capricorn, since December 2017, we have had Saturn move through Saturn-ruled signs. So this is energetically a massive shift for Saturn to move from Saturn type of domain to a Saturn-Jupiter influence. And Saturn's going to be in Pisces until 2026. I spoke more about that in a previous video. Of course, we've got Pluto in Aquarius, and this is a 20-year transit. That starts on the 24th, and we only really get a 3-month iteration of that transit. And I think September to January, we get another one, and then Pluto will settle in Aquarius for good on November 2024. But we get a taste, we get a flavor of that this month. That being said, we've already had a whole lot of Aquarius energy, so it's kind of same, but different. I'm actually toying with the idea of doing a video on YouTube, which I've already done for members in my Golden Circle Club. I'll maybe touch on this a little bit here on YouTube about the idea of Pluto in Aquarius and economic feudalism. If you're keen for that, let me know below, and I'll share some thoughts around history and what's happened in the past and how all roads lead to Rome, right? And how we might be, well, I think it's pretty obvious we're heading down that pathway right now. Of course, that's just one idea. It's nearly impossible to encapsulate a 20-year transit in just a video, but as we move through it, I'm sure I'll be presenting plenty of different ideas around it. And of course, 20-year cycles, how they present collectively, are always going to be very different to how they will be explained or interpreted personally. So anyone who has had significant Pluto transits can really attest to that, I'm sure. And then, of course, this month we have Mars moving out of Gemini, where Mars has been since the 20th of August, retrograded just on Halloween, station direct in January, and finally leaves Gemini for Cancer on the 25th. So again, I have done a Mars in Gemini video. So if you'd like to recap what the last 7 months have been about, it might be a good idea to do that and think about, that house of Gemini for you and how things have perhaps been shaken up, or, what's kind of been a grind, but also given you a lot of clarity and focus. And so this leads me to the energy of this week, because a couple of things are happening, and that is the Venus-Jupiter conjunction at 12 Aries. And then, of course, Aries is, this Venus-Jupiter conjunction, I should say, being ruled by Aries, is looking to Mars for its guidance. And then we also have a Mercury-Saturn conjunction taking place as Saturn hangs at that very last degree of Aquarius. And there is something very significant about the malefic planets Mars and Saturn when they occupy the last degree of a sign, but especially the fixed signs. And I'll get to that part. So one question that I've had quite a bit is, why are the lunations of the early part of this year either at the early degree or at the sort of 16 degree of a sign, which has been and will continue to be a pattern for a big chunk of this year. The reason for that is because if you cast your mind back to the winter solstice for the north, the summer for us here in Australia, we had the solstice, and then a new moon happened very close to the new moon. And to the new moon very close to the solstice. And so this is actually quite a rare thing. And my take on this is that what makes it rare is that if you are an astrologer, you're an astrology enthusiast or student, what you may have already picked up on in many respects is the idea that astrological time and our earthly Gregorian calendar time rarely reconcile with each other. However, this year is very different. What the invitation is the ability or the invitation to align celestial, spiritual patterns with the earthly patterns or the animist patterns, and to get a deeper or a stronger connection between the cosmos and your life and your whether spiritual traditions or daily patterns. So there's a really kind of like a pure alignment happening. And so of course this month also features a new moon in Aries, which is the spring/autumn equinox, and then we have a new moon in Aries at the same time. So this Venus-Jupiter conjunction that's happening at the beginning of the month is kind of priming that territory and kind of resetting that cycle, or kind of offering maybe some hope, some enthusiasm, a little bit of gusto to really kind of tackle the beginning of this year. As an astrologer, yes, there is the sort of January 1 new year, but I really align a lot of my scheduling and planning as, March 20, 21, 22 being the astrological new year. So the vernal equinox plus a new moon plus all this astrological shift this month just really does make the month really massive. So we have the Venus-Jupiter conjunction, which is perfecting as I speak. And I did hope to get this video out a little bit sooner than that. But alas, and the moon is translating her light. So it's all in good timing. But, this is a real opportunity to set the tone for what is joyful, for what is beneficial, for what is soothing, for what you really want to put that energy and focus towards. Those who know me will really probably know that I love the energy of Aries, that pure honesty, that naivety, when there's no calculating quality to it, because it's just really shooting for the hip, from the hip, I should say. And so this conjunction is almost like wishing for the impossible, or making a wish and not even thinking about what could go wrong, or second guessing yourself, or thinking I can't do, be, or have X, Y, or Z. So really gets the engine running as we move into this equinox energy and all of this planetary shift as well. So, and combined with that, we'll also have Mercury conjoining Saturn. And so this is obviously a little bit more of a somber tone in comparison. They do form a whole sign sextile to each other. And this conjunction happens at 29 degrees of Aquarius. So the very end of the Saturn cycle, Mercury is coming through and, having that sort of proverbial discussion with Saturn. it's not surprising that a lot of truths that have maybe been a little bit blocked or delayed or hidden are coming out as well. But I think from a personal standpoint, this is a really good idea to sort of think or wish big, but also have a practical plan and maybe write down a list or write down some kind of skeleton structure of what you might need to do in order to have that, XYZ thing. So, it's this idea of, what's that saying? A goal without a plan is just a wish. And so this combination of planetary energies as the month starts is, think big, wish big, but also have a plan in place to maybe prevent or circumvent failure or disappointment because you didn't maybe put your mind to task or, have a plan. And plans can be tricky because they always change and flex and, no plan is just a linear pathway. But as long as you're trending in the right direction, that can really help you. So, with that in mind, there is a little bit of an invitation as the month starts. How do you want the rest of the new year to look? Generally speaking, I really love March as a month to, if you have made those New Year resolutions back at December, January, and you have been, flailing on that, that you can reboot those dreams or wishes or goals, or you can go, well, maybe I don't want that anymore, or that's not the direction I want to go in. And you can recalibrate what desire is and what it is that is going to really help you move forward with enthusiasm and focus and that sort of Seinfeld line, unbridled enthusiasm is really the energy here. But also with that structure and that planning and that foresight of Mercury Saturn. So this weekend, again, ideal for gratitude, for welcoming abundance, seeing the joy, the support, the togetherness, the calibration, not calibration, collaboration, sorry, not recalibrate, but calibrate. I mean, I just had a walk in my garden before and took some snaps of my flowers and they were just so beautiful. And so again, the idea of cosmic energy and earthly patterns, that there's some sort of spiritual link that's occurring this year to help you get in a sense of alignment with your true north, your true direction, your true desire. And that might be different than what you wanted 6 weeks ago, 6 months, or even 6 years ago. So there is an interesting dynamic to this month and to how it starts. And that's really what I wanted to focus on in this video, as opposed to a monthly overview as such. So I hope you found this helpful, maybe a little bit inspiring. I know there's plenty of people out there that feel a little bit daunted by these planetary shifts. For my money, those who are nervous about Pluto in particular, you just had a whole lot of Saturn. At some point that butterfly does grow its wings and flies away. So my hope for you guys is that you might short circuit or circumvent some of the otherwise, confronting Plutonian influence if Saturn hadn't already been there. So I could go on many tangents, which is kind of what I tend to do. But speaking of Saturn, this Saturday, Australian time, I am giving a webinar, all things Saturn in Pisces. So it's going to be a big one. I'll be covering lots and lots of topics, lots of tips to navigate the next couple of years. And if you'd like to join us, you can still register. I'll put the link below. And once again, thanks for being here. If you're not subscribed, do consider doing so. It'd be great to see you again. So until next time, I really do hope that you find a way to bottle this luckiest day of the year, I guess you could call it. All right, bye for now.